A new Wordle puzzle is online. Click on the link to play.
Listening to the following video may give you clues. Please like and share the videos.
Juventus held by Lazio in Champions League. Alvaro Morata scored twice as Juventus drew 0-0 with Lazio in the Champions League, while Giorgio Chiellini and Paulo Dybala bid farewell.
Giorgio Chiellini and Dybala burst into tears at the end of their farewell games, while Dybala wept after spending 7 years with Juve. Alvaro Morata scored.
Giorgio Chiellini and Paulo Dybala said their goodbyes to the Turin club crowd during the Juventus vs Lazio game, as both players announced their departures this summer.
Giorgio Chiellini hinted at a move to Major League Soccer MLS after the match and took off his armband in honor of Paulo Dybala. He also embraced several Lazio players and blew kisses to the crowd.
In the 17th minute, he was replaced by Matthijs de Ligt, while Dybala embraced the crowd. As emotional farewells were held, Dybala, who has spent the past 7 seasons at Juventus, broke down in tears during the Juventus team's half-time show.
In a separate ceremony, Chiellini, the club's captain, was giving an emotional farewell. In the second half, Juventus resorted to a sloppy style and did not look like they had a chance to score more goals.
As Juventus held Lazio in the final game of the season, they bid their farewells to the fans. The Italian side were 2 goals down in the first half before a late goal by Lazio.
Dusan Vlahovic opened the scoring with a goal that mimicked Dybala's celebration. After the break, Giorgio Chiellini was substituted for Matthijs de Ligt and said his final goodbye to the Juventus home crowd.
With the result, Juventus are 4th in the table and Lazio are 7th. The victory over Lazio means Juventus will finish 4th, while the defeat at Sampdoria gives Lazio a top 6 spot with 1 match to go.
In the meantime, the visitors will have a chance to qualify for the Europa League with the win. Italy has matched Higuain's record of 36 goals in the Italian top-flight season with his latest strike.
In the final group game, the Italians are searching for their first major tournament since the 1970s, where they lost to the Barcelona Lions. With the result, Morata and his teammates will be left with an unremarkable record.
Giorgio Chiellini subbed off. Giorgio Chiellini received a standing ovation after being subbed off as Juventus were held by Lazio on Monday.
The Italian international was a part of a memorable player-club collaboration over the past 17 years, which ended this summer. His subbed-off came after only 17 minutes, and it was one of the last chances Chiellini will get to play in front of his Juventus fans.
After the match, Juve manager Massimiliano Allegri gave Chiellini his final start, albeit as a ceremonial substitution. While the goal was the biggest story of the match, it was not the most important one.
Giorgio Chiellini was the captain of the team since 2018, and Paulo Dybala has risen to the vice-captain role. The sending off of Chiellini has been one of many self-inflicted wounds for Juventus this season, and this is yet another example of their preventable stupidity.
After Chiellini was subbed off in the second half, the game was far from over. The visitors scored 3 goals in 5 minutes, with Paul Pogba's first coming on the 3rd minute of the game.
Later in the game, the Juventus side made it 4-0. A 2-2 draw would give the Italian side a chance to reach the Champions League.
This has been a frustrating first half for both sides, with both sides failing to create enough chances to lead to a goal. Both sides are confident that they can win the match and are looking to put their best foot forward in the second half.
Although Juventus have an easy task defending, Lazio will be able to score goals if they can attack. If the Italian side can play as well as they have, they should win the Super Cup and move on to the Champions League.
The Italian captain made his final home game for Juventus. He spent 17 years with the Bianconeri and could now play in MLS in the United States.
In the 2-2 draw against Lazio, Chiellini placed his armband on Paulo Dybala and kissed the crowd before being subbed off. After he was replaced, Chiellini made his way along the stands and shook hands with fans.
After being subbed off in the second half of Saturday's game, the Italian midfielder could still feature in the club's final day match against Fiorentina. After the Copa America match, Chiellini will no longer be playing for the Italian national team, but he may move to Major League Soccer in the near future.
It was a fitting farewell for Chiellini and his Juventus team. The game was delayed for another 20 minutes as Fiorentina and Sampdoria won their games against both Lazio and Napoli earlier on in the day.
Fiorentina, meanwhile, remain in 7th place, while Fiorentina and Napoli are in the Europa Conference, with Lazio and Roma on the same points. A draw would take both sides closer to the top of the table.
Paulo Dybala's last game as a Juve player. It's hard to imagine a more fitting end to the Argentine's career.
He's been plagued by injuries for the past 2 seasons and has struggled to fit in at a team that has changed its identity multiple times. It's also hard to imagine him playing in a position he was never meant for, and that has been a problem for Juve.
Juventus fans have been witness to Dybala's tears and anger in defeat. They've listened to his insecurities and his tears as he tried to make La Signora love him.
And he's also been the subject of a lot of cynicism and sarcasm, and his reaction to Dybala's comments about his future at Juve was priceless. Juventus will be hoping to sign a replacement for Dybala in the near future.
The Argentine joined the club from Palermo in 2015, and has since played in all 3 leagues. He was a key player in Juve's 5 consecutive Serie A titles, and a 4-time Coppa Italia winner.
His last Serie A game is Monday against Lazio, which will be his final home appearance. Juventus play Fiorentina in the UEFA Champions League final the following week, and Dybala will be preparing to depart.
The game is also Paulo Dybala's last home game with Juventus, and it was an emotional goodbye for the young Argentine. Juventus supporters praised him, and Dybala had to fight back tears when he left the pitch at the end of the match.
Those who know him best may recognize him as the most admired player in the world. However, it's hard to judge him based on his one game with the old lady.
Regardless of how many times he scores for the Italian club, it is unlikely that Juventus will sell Dybala, as he will enter the free agent market. As a result, he will likely be highly sought after in Italy and Europe.
Fortunately, there will always be a club willing to match the price tag if the player has a good future at his new club. If he does move on, it will be to a better club than his current one.
In the past, Dybala was linked with a number of clubs, including Barcelona, PSG, and even Newcastle. However, despite all these interest, no club has jumped to sign him.
It's also unlikely that Dybala will join the likes of Morecambe, and he's unlikely to join the Premier League club.
In the meantime, his former club will have to compete for the Serie A title. Juventus will be missing a key element in their title fight next season, but it's hard to imagine how they could have achieved it without Dybala.
Dybala's performance as a Juventus player has been nothing short of incredible. The striker has scored 2 goals in his last 4 appearances for the club.